what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Black Side of Liberty. It's your man, Governor Wildstar. Hey, what's up? I appreciate each and every one of you for being here on the Black Side of Liberty with yours truly. I have an extraordinary guest who I'll be introducing to you momentarily. Of course, first, I just want to ask you all to help spread the word if you're watching out there on YouTube. I appreciate you for being a subscriber. If you're not already, definitely do so. I'm almost at my goal of 30,000 subscribers. So please, definitely, like I said, be sure to subscribe, share any and all of my videos that you see on my channel or on my social media page. If you haven't connected with me yet, head on over to governorwildstar.com. Click on any of the social media icons, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Connect with me. Let's hit that mark of 5,000 followers and solutionaries out there, activists that I'm connected with. So please be sure to connect with me on social media and let's grow our audience. And of course, if you can, definitely be sure to contribute and help put some money towards the revolution. Okay. So with no further ado, I want to introduce my guest because he's actually on a different time zone. Shit, it's almost tomorrow where he is. So we're going to bring him in where we are out here in California, all the way from Uganda. I got my man, Mugabi John Socrates in the house. What's up, John? Thank you for being here on the Black Side of Liberty, brother.
Yes, Nick, I'm so grateful. I'm privileged to be here at the Black Side Liberty. I'm so grateful to be speaking to you, the libertarian, and to be part of this revolution, world revolution of liberty, of freedom, and prosperity. I'm speaking from Uganda, Entebbe, which is near Kampala, our capital city.
You said what again?
I said I'm speaking right now from Uganda, and in the city called Entebbe. We are just near our capital city called Kampala.
Oh, wow. Okay. So like I said, my man, he is tuning in all the way from Uganda. He is here with us. And it's like midnight or some shit like that. You on a different time zone. So I know it's like almost tomorrow where you are, Wednesday where you are. So it's like we're time traveling here. So I appreciate you again taking the time out of your schedule to talk with us because it's lots to talk about. And it's a lot going on in our world, and of course, the first thing we want to do is let the people out there know who you are. So please, John Mugabi Socrates, please tell them who is Mugabi John Socrates.
Yeah, thank you very much for the viewers there, for the people who are following. I'm Mugabi John Socrates from Uganda. I'm a libertarian. I became a libertarian in 2013 when I was still at a university pursuing my studies. I got an opportunity to read a book which one of the guests at the university came up with, the book called Road to Serfdom, and it was by Hayek. I know some of you know that book. And that book inspired me into the liberty movement. And before that, I was also a very strong activist at the university. I used to challenge the tyranny which we have. In Uganda, we have an authoritarian leader who has been in power. Now it's coming to 35 years. But all my student life, I was so much in activism. So when I got a book called Road to Serfdom, it brought me into the reality of what freedom gives to people and what can freedom give to my country, Uganda, which has been suffering so much because of tyranny. We had never, even before, got a very peaceful transition of power from one leader to another, but it has always been struggling, shedding blood, war. So as an individual, I wanted so much to see that we have peace, we have liberty, we have no corruption or less corruption, and we have people to do whatever they want to do without infringing the right of the others. But the society had a lot of change, a lot of resistance, and a lot of tyranny, which takes away freedom of everyone. So when I read that book, I got inspired. I started moving to different universities, inspiring students to learn these ideas of liberty, the ideas of freedom, the ideas of spontaneous order and free market, how our society can grow and prosper if people have freedom, if people can start businesses without any obstacle, without high taxes, and then also they can live as they want. So I formed the Student for Liberty. I know you know Student for Liberty. It's based in US. And I also, in 2017, started a libertarian free market think tank called Action for Liberty and Economic Development. And right now we have a community which is expanding, a community of libertarians. We have hosted very many libertarians, some of them, I think you know, Dan Taxation is a Safe, Daniel Bauman. He visited us in Uganda. We organized very many events where he spoke about the liberty and also the Libertarian Party. I also try to work with the young libertarians who are part of the African Libertarian Union, which is a political platform, which is like the Libertarian Party in US, spearing property rights, individual liberty, freedom, and also the free enterprise. So that's what I'm working with, and I'm also so much into the libertarian activism in our community.
I'm glad that you are, because we need more advocates of liberty out there in the world. You know, not just here in America where it's still kind of catching on, but in places like Africa where I think could definitely benefit tremendously from some liberation, especially from colonialism, from a lot of the societal institutions that have been created, not only, like I said, here in America, but that exists out there in Africa as well. So with you picking up this Hayek book, I mean, it's basically an economics book, you know, and that, a lot of people in America are ignorant as to how the economy here in America works, about taxation, about banking, about lending and spending, and how government plays a role in all of that. So it's very confusing, but you picked up this book and you picked up a lot of key points that where, like I said, the majority of people are ignorant. So for you to then pick up the torch of liberty and say, hey, well, I'm going to create a organization that will inform more people about this knowledge, and go out there with the Action for Liberty and Economic Development organization that you created, you know, that's a tremendous step for you to be taking, you know. And like I said, we definitely need more people out there speaking out for liberty. So I wish you all of the best with the organization. And I would think that with you being out in Uganda, in a country that I don't know how it is politically, maybe you can break that down a little bit so we can have a bit of scope of how it is operated. I mean, is it a monarchy? Is it under the rule of England? Is it independent? Is it a country? How does it work?
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, Uganda, the country found East Africa. We got our independence in 1962 from Britain, 1962. And after independence, we got leaders who were inspired by socialism. As you know, the Pan-Africanism by Kwame Nkrumah, Julius Nyerere, formed so much the struggle for independence in most of the African country. So even Uganda was like the same one. We got the first leader who was Milton Obote, who took Uganda to the socialist side, working with so much the USSR, United Soviet, or the Russia of the present. And automatically, most of the people, it became a republic, but with a lot of powers vested into the president and the state house. So in 1966, because of having so much power vested in one president, we got kind of war. We got the first war after independence, where the leader, who was a ceremonial president, who was also the king of a strong monarchy here, conflicted with the president, the executive leader, and then we went into the war. In 1971, I think you heard about Idi Amin Dada. There was a coup which happened in 1971. Idi Amin Dada, who is very famous, known all over when you talk about Uganda, took over. And you know very well that Amin Dada expelled the Asians who were strong business leaders here, and he had some reason. So he expelled them. And after Amin, we also got another kind of rebels coming in from 79. They took over. In 1980, we went into the war. The country had a 6 years war. And after that 6 years war in 1986, the current president who was a rebel, came in and said, this is a fundamental change. We've come to bring peace, to bring democracy. And he said he's not inspired by being in power, but giving power back to people. And guess what? In 1995, this president made a constitution and said, I'm leading now for 2 terms. And then led up to 2005, and he changed the constitution. He removed the term limits, and now is like a leader who is leading forever, a life president. We usually have election, but election are just symbolic to just justify the autocratic leader or the authoritarian, to give a semblance of democracy. And in 2017, we had a safety valve in our constitution which could limit the leader by age. And our leader, who was 74 by then, was going to be blocked by the constitution for not leading, because he was going to be now 75 years and above. So he removed also that article. He amended the constitution with the majority of the MPs from his ruling party, and then is now leading. And we have been having a lot of clamping of the opposition parties, the decent voices. And I, for one, have been arrested several times for speaking about justice, for speaking about freedom, and also trying to push for electoral reforms. And at university, I got arrested over 7 times, taken to safe houses. And then in 2016, I was also kind of declared a rebel because of coming out and speaking about issues which matter, speaking about the rule of law which our country needs. So at the moment, the country, I would say, we have a military kind of regime. The president is a general, most of the ministers are general, though they try to pretend to be democratic, but elections means almost nothing. It's like a kind of giving them credit that, yeah, we can allow people to come and participate, but we always get the majority. Even when people vote against them, they know how to doctor, because all the institutions are under the influence of the state and the president at the top. So that's a kind of country we have here. That's Uganda. But we are so much hopeful that there is a young generation which is coming up, which is understanding the need for freedom, the need for our country to enjoy and prosper, because we have the resources, we have the natural resources, we have people who have love on earth, we have a good climate, and we have everything. But then the state controlling almost everything has made people to be poor, people to suffer. Life expectancy is 48 for the men, 50 for the ladies, and 30% of the people don't have work here. And some people run as for asylum in different countries, in Europe and US, those who can get that, what I call opportunity, but it's not an opportunity to me, because I believe we have an opportunity to fight for this country. We have an opportunity to stand and challenge the dictatorship, because it's possible to bring it down.
Right, exactly. It sounds like you need to be running for president. And hopefully, you know, once your organization picks up more steam and more people find out what it is that, you know, being a libertarian or libertarian and ideas provide for the community, that economic independence, that energy independence, you know, all of that will liberate you as people, and of course institute a government of choice opposed to dictatorship. And it sounds like that's what your country pretty much more so has become, and what America is quickly becoming, a dictatorship. And if I may ask, I mean, I want to shift gears a little bit here, because with the dictatorship uh, um, idea in mind, a lot of what's going on about this coronavirus is being given to us and provided to us by the powers that be. And we're told to trust them, you know. And like you said, in your country, you have now this pretty much this dictator that's taken place in the country. And what has been the response to the Ugandan people about the coronavirus? Because I'm pretty sure at this point, you guys have heard about the coronavirus, right? And
Yeah.
okay, so how has the Ugandan government handled the pandemic, or people in your community altogether? We only get so much news out here in America,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, true. Yeah, it is very interesting. First of all, next year we are in February. We are going to have our generation, and coronavirus has hit the rest of the world. It has also been hitting Uganda. But for the case of Uganda, the restriction, the limiting of the civil liberties, and also how the government is responding seems to be more harmful to the people of Uganda than even the coronavirus itself. For example, government has put up restrictions for people to move from one place to another, and also we have few centralized kind of hospitals, public hospitals mainly, but most of the people cannot even access because of the restriction, because of the curfew time. And so we have registered more people dying because they cannot access the hospital for either maternity issues, for getting medication, and also for health care than what the people who have died of COVID. So COVID has not yet killed. So far, we have government is saying over 4 people have died of recently, but we have over 300 people who have died because they cannot access the medication, either because of the curfew, either because of the lack of transport, because they need to get a private transport, a vehicle, which they cannot hire because it's expensive. So COVID has been so much like that. Then also when you come into the businesses, most of the markets were closed, and yet most of the people were getting their livelihood from this market through selling, through exchanging. And when the government came and closed the markets, many people started starving. And we were attached as our organization and some libertarians, where we started to fundraise and give some people who were dying because they cannot get what to eat. And they were dying not because of COVID, they were starving not because of COVID, but how the government was responding to the crisis. Also, we have seen a kind of panicking because COVID, with the media all over, it caused panicking. People flooded the markets, the shops, and started buying things like in large quantity. And prices started changing and even inflating. So the government was coming up and saying, we are going to control the prices. And in terms of controlling the prices, it made the things worse. And then the prices ended up skyrocketing even beyond. We ended up having black market, goods on black market, and also scarcity because of the government coming and saying we are going to control the prices. But also we are seeing the government also, taking COVID as an advantage to its side. It's getting a lot of loans from Europe, from America, from all the institutions, the international financial institution. Almost every month, government is applying for the loan, and we are going to be very much indebted as a country. And most of the people are worried. Even last week, the parliament, the opposition side was very worried and presented and said, how are we going to pay this?
Right.
And even the government, what was funny, governor, was when the government came up and passed a law which only allows the government to give people food, to give relief to the people. And we had to break that stupid law or that funny law because we couldn't see people in our neighborhood dying and say the government is not allowing us to give you or to help you. So the government came up, it arrested many people because of helping the other, and it wanted to remain the custodian of food and only the institution or the people who can help those who were in need of food. So it also caused a lot of problem. Many people still had to die because they were not helped, they were not allowed. But those who were strong and we were pro-life, we said we cannot. We either break this law and save life rather than seeing that happening. So it was that kind of thing. And right now, the government is kind of scaring, threatening that we may go in another kind of total lockdown because of the election. We are having an election where only the people who are part of the party in power, the ruling party, they are the one allowed to campaign and make big rallies. But those who are not subscribing to the ruling party, they get arrested. They are not allowed to campaign. And they are also being told to use the radios and TVs. But all the radios and TVs have been given restriction and intimidated. They have been threatened that their licenses will be kind of cancelled if they give airtime to people who are not for the ruling party, people who are speaking about change. And so COVID is kind of becoming a button for the ruling party, for the dictatorship, first of all, to control the people, to also take away all the civil liberties, and even to turn almost everyone into the beggar so that government can be the one to provide or to give. So that's the situation we are in.
It's so crazy because what you're saying, it completely reflects everything that's happening here in America. And you're right, they are blowing things out of proportion by using the amount of people that have died from COVID to impose on us these restrictions of our freedoms, and it's crazy that you are saying that more people have died from the lockdown precautions or, the measurements that they have imposed upon the people due to them overreacting about the virus versus the virus itself, But even further, but you also bring up another good point by saying that the government came in to control prices, and that actually made the cost of goods skyrocket and cause things to fluctuate. We're out here in America, that's actually one of the things that people are calling for the government is to get involved, and they don't really have a true understanding of, like I said, of economics, how money works, how the economy works in general. And so they demand these changes from government that will result in actuality in disaster. You guys are experiencing that yourself where you are in Uganda. So it's crazy that, again, we see the governments worldwide kind of just doing the same things, but just, I guess, certain limits of, like you were saying about your country receiving loans from other governments, the American government, the Russian government, the Chinese government. They're all providing these loans. Why? We got to question why they're wanting to provide this money to us over, again, a virus that hasn't killed many people at all. It's really the lockdown precautions that have caused more suffering on the people itself than the virus. So it's crazy to hear that happening. And speaking of Africa, or pardon me, China now is being targeted by the United States government, i.e., Donald Trump particularly, mainly because we need another scapegoat here in America, somebody to blame other than the American government itself. So right now there's a change in school curriculum that's being proposed where the American people will be taught more about how slavery and the enslavement of Africans have caused the economy to be created here in America. It was created off the backs of slaves, enslaved Africans. And we are the children of those enslaved Africans, the Black people here in this country. And there's a new growing concern where I guess the white people here feel like they're going to be washed out by blackness. And there's a big rift right now with wanting to put American values first, i.e., mainly Western culture and European ideals. And that to be the forefront, the epitome of all understanding and learning and education here in our country. So it has been. That's like called American exceptionalism, so to speak. But and that's that America can't do no wrong. But there's a call for, I guess, immigrants, people in this country, to be removed, to be deported, and to put American people first. So with China coming into a country like Africa, buying up lots of land, buying up lots of resources, buying up governments, is China seen as a threat to the people of Africa, and is putting Africans first something that the African people do? I mean, since there's been such a influence of other countries, whether it's America, China, or Russia, whatever the case, England, they've all kind of had their hands in Africa. So, do the people of Africa put African people first above others?
Okay, yeah, thank you. The issue of China is very interesting. The China in Africa and China's expansionist policy in Africa. Yeah, if the people of Africa and the leaders of Africa, they are two different people, though they are all African. The leaders who seem to represent the states or the people of Africa, most of them, I don't believe, and what they do, they don't have the people, or they represent the African, their brothers, their children, their relatives at heart, or putting them at first. And why it has been quite easy for China to buy airports, to buy ports, to buy land, like in Uganda. Almost we mortgaged our airport to China. China's bought most of the districts with minerals. Our president have sold them to China. But the issue is that our leaders have decided to go to China because, one, China is giving them everything, the money they need, the military they need to clamp the people. And China is not like, okay, some also, I don't believe so much they have good intention always, but the Western powers, sometimes they try to question about governance, about human rights, and about also the right of the people. But China is not doing that in Africa. We are seeing China, for example, in Zambia, where China has almost had to take the airport and they want to control and to earn all the income which the airport is making. We also in Uganda, we are seeing China taking over all the minerals because it has bought all that land. We are seeing China giving a lot of money to these countries, to our African countries, and most of this money is just used. It's a loan, but it is used by the leaders these authoritarian leaders we are having, the corrupt leaders we are having, and China just continues giving them the loans and the loans without any kind of question, because China does not care about that. It has its own interests and has no interest about the people of Africa or how they live. Even if the dictator they are giving money, almost massacre all the district or 1,000 people, China will remain silent about that. It has no issue concerning human rights, concerning freedom of the people, or even the economic progress. Though China is about, when you look at China's interest in Africa, it's mainly about the the market is also there, but also the raw material, which China benefits a lot from most of the African countries. But the question is also our leaders and also the people, and that's what we are doing as allied, to show and even teach the people what China, our relationship with China, how is it toxic? Because it is first of all making our countries to be indebted. It's also putting at disposal all the money and weapon to the dictators or to the leaders who are ruthless, who don't mind about life, who even don't mind if all the people are almost killed. For them, what is their only interest is to have power, is to live at the expense of the other, of the people they lead, and China does not mind about that. So the issue of putting people first, it's still a question which goes, our leaders do not put the African people first. It is themselves first, it is their interest first, and then power first. But also we must see the Africans here understanding, because some Africans see what is happening and they don't mind about the implication, the long-term effect which may come. They don't know that this airport, we were asking some people here in Uganda, most of them, they were not even minding that China is going to take our airport. They couldn't even mind it. So, oh, we shall still be using it because we don't fly. We don't go anywhere, most of us. So why don't they take it? If they are taking it, let it be. So we need also to teach the Africans that we have what it takes for Africa to live and prosper without even loans. But the problem that we are not free to utilize what we have, the land we have, to utilize all the skills and the enterprise we have, because the leaders who are in power are putting all the control and the restriction to make us stay like that, stay ignorant, but also stay impoverished, so that we cannot demand for power, for freedom. We cannot demand for people power.
Right.
So that's a case here.
Just to know, from the grassroots, from the people there, the boots on the ground, that China is taking over in such a way, and that the powers that be are still controlling the resources and aren't allowing the African people to profit from it and flourish. And that, to me, that's a big red flag, and definitely should be something that should be a diplomatic issue that should be addressed by the United States government, especially if they have a role in perpetuating that in any way, shape, or form. I mean, colonialism has done enough in damage in the world. It needs to end somehow, but for some reason, if it's still perpetuated and promoted by Western society and now Eastern society, then it's never going to go away, and you're always going to have people going around the planet trying to take over land that isn't there, take over resources that isn't theirs, and starting wars because of it. Because American people wouldn't want that here in America, but yet we're allowing it and promoting it and doing it ourselves in other places all across the world. So it definitely needs to end somehow, some way. So I hope that you keep speaking out about that. And for Black people here in America, it's definitely a sensitive issue because we feel like we've seen enough of the raping and pillaging of a country that we came from, you know. And like I said earlier in the show, the black people here in this country predominantly see themselves as being the descendants of African slaves, and that's who they are. But if you dig a little deeper, you find out who those Africans are. You know, did they migrate here? Were they enslaved Africans? You know, it varies, but black people don't have the resources to do their homework to find out about their ancestry and see where they came from. So there's a big separation between black people, how they see themselves, and African culture and the roots that they come from. And we're still trying to build that and establish that in some way. So black people see a separation there, especially with African Americans, because you know white people here in Africa, here in America, or elsewhere, consider every black person in America to be an African American, but that's not technically true. If you, for instance, were to come to America, gain a visa, or you know your citizenship, now you're an African American. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That
true.
would be an actual African American versus me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like six generations, generations of African heritage here in America. So I should just be American.
American,
I'm
true.
not seen in that way here in America because of the color of my skin. It's unfortunate. We're still trying to overcome that in some way, but we still got a long ways to go. But first things first, we got to start talking about our people. You know, it's melanated folks. You know, so black people again see this rift between Africans because they feel like that disconnect is there. So I want to ask you, do do the melanated people of Africa see themselves as being black, or is it different?
Yeah, it's very interesting. Uh, um, the Africans don't have problem with even calling themselves black or seeing themselves black, because there are many who appreciate uh, the black kind of melanin they have in our skin, in our pigment. But also, we have some Africans who are here, and they were the legacy of colonialism left them in a position of being inferior and in a position of not appreciating who they are. That's how I can say, not appreciating. Even the language, the accent they want to use, they want to speak like British. They want to twist it to be like American. We have some now who are speaking like they feel like when they speak like the so-called African American, like you, Governor Nicholas, who is an American, but we call you African American. They feel like that's where they should be and that's where they are. We have also that kind of Africans here who they even don't appreciate so much. They feel like we are African, but the black kind of attachment to them is not something they appreciate. But we have many Africans here in different even countries have moved. I talk to them. They appreciate and they so much grateful of who they are. And the color, they always call them a black African. However, we also have debate black, putting black as something with, there is kind of scholarship which has come in different university saying black, it's better to use African, but black. But we do believe, most of us, that we appreciate we are black, and that's how we are. That's how we created, and we feel very proud of it. And that kind of who we are, it's what defines us. And we appreciate. We don't have to say, "Oh, what? Wish we are like this." But we still have many also in different kind of life where they still appreciate being called okay African, but so much of a kind of Western. We use the word Western. They want, and others are like, I'm not typical black, but I'm African American. We have those who feel like they have the sense of also feeling like they are African American, and this kind of trash which is happening to America, which has inspired black movement, Black Lives Matter movement. It's now kind of debate here saying, now, okay, you're saying you are Black American, but see what is happening to you, the African American in America. And it's something which is giving a debate. But we appreciate and we always tell the people it's good to live, have unity in diversity. We don't have to feel inferior because of who we are, because this is how we are created. We found ourselves coming up like this, and we must live happily with who we are, and we appreciate. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like Africa is still embracing the idea of the Pan-African Black diatribe, I guess, that idea that Marcus Garvey, I don't know if you've heard of Dr.
Yeah.
Marcus Garvey, but the Honorable Marcus Garvey created that Pan-African movement here in America to basically unite melanated people, African people all over the world, and especially those here in America, to say this is where you belong, this is our culture, and this is where we can find pride in our people, no matter where we are located. So it's a beautiful thing, and hopefully at some point it picks up. It picks up, but the term black and white was labels given to us by the Western Europeans, or English colonizers. So it's like it's a matter of shaking that as well, and getting down to the root of who we are. Like I said, a lot of Black people here in America don't do their homework to actually find out their roots. I just did it myself and found out, through a DNA test, I'm from, I guess my people and the tribe is the Bisa people, or Burkina Faso. So
Oh.
still learning about them, and
Yeah,
um,
that's very interesting.
all of that stuff. And it's an interesting journey, but a lot of people don't catalog it. Our grandparents, our parents, they don't communicate enough. They don't record that information enough and write it down. They don't pass it down from generation to generation.
True,
We
true,
don't have record of that information. So we got to start it at some point. All of you
true.
melanated people out there in America, uh, please definitely do your homework. Find out. Spend your $1,200 stimulus check on getting you a DNA test, African ancestry DNA test, so you can find out which tribe you belong to. Because you can take a regular DNA test and then they just tell you, well, you got 60% African or 80% African. You're like, duh, I want to know which part of Africa. You know what I mean? So, Black people,
And
African ancestry DNA test. Do your thing. So that's my plug for them. But anyways, I want to speak to the other side. Since we talked about Black people, I want to talk about those melanin deficient people that are there in Africa. Because, like I said, Black people here in America have seen the devastation that colonialism and Europeans have done to Africa. But it seems like, from the outside looking in, that Africa still haven't um, made that distinction, because you have a lot of white people in Africa. You have a lot of white people claiming territories, like I guess these white farmers that are suing and for land, and there's been murders and just kind of like infighting over people wanting to control that land, and it's really the native people, the indigenous people of that land, wanting back that land, wanting back their property, their resources, and the white people saying no. And now they're having to sue, which I think they actually lost the lawsuit. So now the people of Africa have to pay these farmers who invaded their land, took their property, to pay them to leave. And it just seems a bit backwards to me. So I want to ask you straight up, why are white people still allowed in Africa? You would think at this point, maybe, I don't know, if there was a president like Mandela, or what's this guy, Julius Malema of the Economic Freedom Fighters?
Yeah, if
Yeah, okay, you heard of him. Good. So, you have people like him out there fighting for African independence and I guess banning white people or exiling them. So, what is Africa's reception to the white people in their country?
yeah, that's very interesting, Nick. Yeah, I've been to most of the southern part of Africa, and most so in South Africa, where they have a kind of big and relative population of the what we call the white people, or the Europeans who came there quite a long time ago. And I saw the feelings, even in Kenya, there is a feelings the indigenous or the African people have some time against the white people who are also like how you are in United States. There is a strong feeling, and sometimes it has caused a lot of rift between the two societies, the society of the black and maybe the people of the colors, the white people. But it also dates back to history, how each group treated each other. And when you look at most parts, South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Namibia, where they had a lot of minerals, they had a lot of resources, which forced many and inspired many people from Western part of the world to come and settle there to do trading, and then finding themselves living there as their country and ancestral home. There is history, bad history. I would say there is a history of appetite, there is a history of savage, there is a history of plunder, there is a history of using the gun to take away what belonged to those indigenous Africans and then controlling it, taking it by force. And that history keeps sometimes reminded by, you look at Julius Malema, he keeps reminding sometimes these black South Africans that what the white people they are having today, they never worked for it. Though they are preaching about free market, how they have worked hard and got these resources, but the foundation was not free market. It was using power, using the state, which they are talking about today, that we should leave this to run and do free market. But how did they get the land? How did they acquire the resources? It was not free market, but it was power. It was through shedding blood. And now a person like Malema comes and says, no, no, no. Free market is kind of system which is giving the white people and giving them the power to still have what they took away from our grandfathers and mothers. So it becomes a problem. And it is also fresh in many parts of Africa, like Kenya, like Namibia, and Zimbabwe, where the wrong history of using force and using power keeps on reminding every generation that these people are not rich, these people are not wealthy because they worked hard. They had an opportunity to get guns and take advantage, kill our ancestors, and then amass all this wealth. And now they find themselves that in the best way to keep this wealth, is to say no more control, let the government not intervene, let us work. But then sometime when you look at the ground, for example, where in South Africa, where I was in 2017, there is still a big kind of difference. And when you enter South Africa, you feel the kind of different groups, and also how wealth is on the other end, and how this end is kind of impoverished. But then when you look at that, it is apartheid, and that's how the white people who had the power, who had the can, designed the system to take away all what belonged and what could help the indigenous people to also live good life, to also progress, then controlling it from them. And right now, the feelings are coming back. But still, when you look at the Julius Malema, they are still wanting to use power. Also, the same mistake the other people use power. They want also to use power to get it and then give it to the class, to the few people who control power, to control all these resources. And then I think it will be the same still mistake. These people, the Africans now, who are controlling the little resources now, they are also proving to be corrupt. They are also proving to be using it with their brothers, sisters, and families, and still keeping it with power, but then using it, saying, no, at least we are Africans, let us use it, not those whites. It's better for your fellow African to be the one eating, to be the one using that, but not leaving it in the hands of the whites. So it goes on like that, and that feeling is there. And even when I come back to Uganda, we also had, when you look at our capital city, the places now which are more developed, which are having kind of skyscrapers, which are having good roads, those are the places where the colonialists used to stay, where the white people used to live. And when the white people left those places after independence, then our first, whom we call the people who saved us from the white people, our leaders, the post-colonial leaders, they also occupied the same places and restricted the rest of the people, the rest of the people who are not in power, who are not in government, to live in those places. And now, when government changes, you find that the people who are living in that places, they leave, and then the people who come in government again, they live in those places with their people. But then that's how even colonialism used to be. The governor, the families, and all the one lived in those good places. And still today, the government still maintain power cannot go off in that places. The roads are always worked upon. There is rule of law because there's security, there is everything. And still you see the colonial lines are still drawn, and we inherited them and then took over, and then we are using them, the instruments of power which we are used for controlling African, still our fellow Africans who are having power, they are still using them to do the same which the colonialists did. So the feeling is still there. But I, for one, I believe like we as a libertarian, we must address it in terms of power. When you grab from people, you use power. It's very hard for people to forget. They may die, but a generation will come and will easily know you never worked for that. You use power, and then they will rebel. Here we have, tribes. It's not good to say tribes, but ethnicity. We have ethnic groups here. Whenever they get their son, they call them our son coming and becoming a president, the whole group or tribe feels like now we have got an opportunity, and all of them want to get jobs, all of them want to get scholarship. They move like they're the one in the power, they're the one controlling the state. And when that tribe or ethnic group leaves, then another one comes and says, now it's our time. Let us also be enjoying. We must take what you took. And we'll be in that kind of cycle, as we deny our country an opportunity to grow. We deny the people who have energy, talent, and abilities an opportunity to also utilize them and live a good life and contribute to the society because they can. But still the question centers about power. The white people who came here used power to take away what belonged to the indigenous people, indigenous African. And Now the trend has changed, where we have realized that power is not good. You cannot use power to take away. When you use power, you are stealing. And now the white people like the Julius Malema are so much raising that feelings within the Africans. Even here we have some Pan-Africans praising Julius Malema, using Julius Malema's kind of rhetoric, language. Even they use it against the fellow blacks who are in power. That you are like you are black colonialists. You are those colonialists wearing a black skin. You are more worse than even the British. So it's kind of cycle we are in, but we must collect it, and we must also admit that the white people who use power now, they are realizing that people cannot forget sometime, and that's why we must be very careful whenever we have an opportunity to lead or to guide people. If we have it, we must use it very well, because it has sometime a way how it comes back.
Yeah, but it's definitely imperative that people like you and I, like you said, have an opportunity to lead, because the sentiment is so angry and unforgiving that those, historical traits of those colonialists and Western invaders pretty much have created this path of destruction. And then at some point, now it's starting to blow up in their face, and they're wondering why. It's not only happening in Uganda there, or in Africa, but here in America with the Black Lives Matter protests and the calls against police brutality and end of racial prejudice. And it's sad that a lot of white people don't realize that the destructive history that was created in their name is now coming back, to reap what was sown. And it's happening also in Africa. You can't be destructive. You can't use the means of force and violence to get what you want and then think, I'm going to enjoy the rest of my life peacefully and everything is going to be okay. That may happen. You may enjoy a sense of security for so long, but the next generation, the next generation, the next generation, they're not going to have it at some point. And I feel like that sentiment has come to head here in America as well as in Africa through people like Julius Malema now, inflaming that tone. But like you said, it would be awful to have a black colonialist take that place. You're not trying to create something new. You're not trying to create the government of the people, for the people, by the people. You're not trying to create one where the African people are in control of its resources and land equally, not just a hierarchy or a group of families, rich families, like you said, being in control. It needs to be everyone. So someone like yourself being put in that position to where now you're able to advocate for libertarianism and allow it to be the foundation of this new world, this new society, this new existence in Africa would be a wonderful opportunity for not only Africa, but the entire world, because we don't really see many countries flourishing under a libertarian government. There's not many that are created or that are allowed to, because of the control, the monetary control by the international banking cartel. They own the IMF, they own the American dollar, the Federal Reserve, and it sounds like they're making their way through Africa through certain loans to these countries. So you have to resist. So it's like it's like a two-sided sword. You got to thank the guy for what he's doing, but yet at the same time, you got to realize the dangers of if it's successful and what does that mean, and we shouldn't be. I also got to say this: we can't be forgiving and merciful to those people that have been merciless towards us. We've allowed it for too long, and it will continue to happen unless we stand our ground. At some point, we have to as people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As a man,
Yeah.
I'm going to refuse to be treated less than a man. I don't give a
Yeah,
damn.
you remember Julius Nyerere said, "We can forgive you, but we cannot forget your names. We cannot forget what you did to us." That was Julius Nyerere after independence.
Yeah, I forgive you, but I can't forget it, and because of that, I gotta be aware in how I proceed in life and how I build and create my existence. I'm not going to tell my son to be a part of the American government and the American system. I'm gonna tell him it's a lie, and I'm gonna teach him all of the tools and information that he needs to tear that shit down. And every person out there in America should be doing the same thing. You're living a lie. Your government is a lie. Your money is a lie. Everything about it is a lie. And you want to continue to live the lie, or you're going to pass the lie on generation, generation to generation, where at some point they're going to get enough of the lie and start fighting for the truth. That's where we are right now. That's what 2020 is all about. We need to bring some truth to light for once, or else we're going to continue to live in a state of darkness, you know?
All right.
And
Yeah.
as much as the white people in America want to erase the idea of racism by saying it doesn't exist, you can't be that ignorant to think that those people that were victimized because of it are going to think the same thing, you know? And it sounds like the people of Africa are on the same page with that. And this revolution is happening in so many ways. And I hope that it ends up being one that ends up being a peaceful and civil one without much bloodshed, without war, without destruction. And it can be avoided, but it starts first with leadership. Um,
True.
so I hope that everyone out there watching in Uganda is going to support you and the Action for Liberty and Economic Development Foundation. Contribute, donate, whatever that they can. Anybody out there watching, please head over to the website alituganda.org and donate to my man. Make sure his organization is as successful as possible. It costs money. He needs money, so we can get him some resources, have him be heard by more people in Uganda as well as the entire country of Africa. So, I got one more question, my man, and I do my best to kind of end things on a good note when I can, and try to raise the vibrations and also to dispel any stereotypes and misunderstandings as much as possible. So that's what I use this platform for. I appreciate you for answering all of the questions that I had, because none of my guests ever know what I'm ever going to ask them. So thank you in advance, for everything and for answering all of my questions as you have. But before you go, I do have one more, because out here in America, we only get so much information about the rest of the world, like I said. And a lot of it is entertaining. We see videos from Africa and it's people dancing and they're happy and joyous. And
Yeah.
it looks so fun and energetic. And all of the videos, Africans know how to dance. I mean, like, they create dance steps here in America because of what they see from, videos of Africans dancing. So I want to ask you, do all Africans know how to dance, or is it just me? Because from what I see, it seems like every damn African know how to dance. I need to learn how to dance or something.
I don't think not
Do you know?
many Africans uh, have kind of entertainment. They have their culture. Every culture has a certain dance in Africa.
All
They
right.
have different cultures. But I, for one, I'm not so much good in dancing. But in Africa, every kind of shaking, twisting can belong to one tribe. It can be another kind of dancing or skill. So there
Right.
are many people in Africa. Uh, I think they have a certain dance, and you find that everyone almost in the family, because is attached to a certain kind of culture, he will be knowing a certain dance, which having certain skill of backsliding.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't, not everyone, because I've not been so much into the dance world here in Africa, but I always enjoy, I've been seeing it at universities, but I've
Right.
not been good into it. But many, Africa is a land, besides the challenges we are having and the kind of problems and the dictatorship, but people enjoy music and they sometimes forget and live for another day, something like that.
Good, man. You got to cut away and enjoy life. And especially
Yeah,
right now when the government is telling you not to enjoy life, not to
yeah,
enjoy dancing and partying and, meeting other people. And they're
true.
trying to prevent us from interacting with each other.
Yeah,
So all of the videos are great. I'm not a big TikTok fan and all of that stuff, but I see the videos, being posted and circulating on Instagram and Facebook and
yeah.
other social media platforms. And hey, I think it's dope. Keep dancing. I don't know how to dance. I'm not gonna do all of that shit either. But I tell you one thing, I do win Governor of California. You may see me do a
Yeah.
little something, you know what I mean? I hope to get people dancing all over the world with that victory, and hopefully you can get people out there dancing as well. Dance a victory dance with you being
Yeah,
successful with the Action for Liberty and Economic Development Foundation. I wish you all
yeah,
the best of success with the organization. Like I said, everybody out there, if you are watching, please be sure to support this man right here, Mugabi John
thank you.
Socrates, who is the founder of Action and Liberty or Action for Liberty and Economic Development Foundation. So please be sure to support him. Run over to the website, alituganda.org. Donate to my man. Help him be heard by so many more people in Uganda and Africa so we can advance liberty and get somebody like him representing the country for once. That would be extraordinary, wouldn't it? Well, thank you again for being here, Mugabe. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
Hey, I hope to see you in California sometime soon, my man.
Yeah, I know I will get there. Last time it was just a visa problem, but
All
I'm trying to see how I work on it so that I get there at the Libertarian
right.
Convention.
Once I'm governor, we'll get that squared away, man.
Yeah.
Well, thank
Thank you.
you again for being here, Mugabe. I know it's like midnight, 1 o'clock, your time, so I'll let you get to bed. I appreciate you
Yeah,
for being here. God bless and good night to you, my friend.
yeah. Thank you very much. God
All
bless
right,
you.
here.
Thank you.
That again, everyone, was Mugabi John Socrates, who is the founder of Action for Liberty and Economic Development Foundation, ALID, in Uganda. So head on over to the website right there, aliduganda.org. Please be sure to support my man, donate, contribute any amount of money that you can. Like he said, they're doing this power grab. The Chinese, the Russians, the Americans, they're all trying to have their dirty hands in controlling the resources and the government out there in Uganda as well as other parts in Africa. But we want to help my man out there, Mugabi John Socrates. So head on over to Facebook, connect with him, talk to him if you want to get involved with the organization in any way. On Facebook, Mugabi.John Socrates, or like I said, head on over to his foundation, Action for Liberty and Economic Development, ALID, which is aliduganda.org. Okay. Thank you again to my guest, Mugabi John Socrates, for being here. And thank you to all of you that were dropping comments during the broadcast. I truly appreciate you. I got a libertarian Tanea Grande. I think I said that right, but jumping in the room, I got George Worth, Myra, Jeremy, all of the viewers that were watching and didn't drop comments. I appreciate you all for watching as well. Be sure to, of course, tune in next time and watch this broadcast, share this video, make sure that it's seen and heard by as many people as possible. So before I get out of here, I want to tell you guys a little bit of what's going on. Hold on, let me bring my shit up to speed. Okay, so first, of course, you know how we do. Make sure that you guys go out there and vote Libertarian. If you're out there in Rhode Island, you had your chance to vote for Adam Carbone for Cranston mayor. Okay, one of my previous guests right here on the Black Side of Liberty, he is running for mayor of Cranston in Rhode Island. So today is the day, Rhode Island and New Hampshire. So if you are out there in either of those states, today was your primary, please go out, vote Libertarian. In Texas, the Republican Party made a move to remove over 40 libertarians from the ballot. Why? Because if those libertarian candidates get on the ballot, they will threaten the establishment. That's what we want to do. We want to threaten the establishment. We want to remove the establishment. So get your damn libertarians elected. Vote Jo Jorgensen, the presidential candidate, so she can have an opportunity to be in the presidential debates coming up next month or so, over the next few weeks, whatever the hell. I think they're going to do it online. But she'll be dropping videos in response to those debates. Be sure to share those videos, make them viral, let her speak, let her be heard, okay? And you want to vote Libertarian to make sure that all other candidates that are on the ballot, down ballot, wherever they are, don't have to fight for ballot access like in Texas, won't be threatened with being removed from the ballot like out there in Texas. So please, everybody, wherever you are, vote Libertarian, especially you people out there in New Hampshire and Rhode Island. Today and next week, September 15th, Delaware. So Delaware, next week, you're up. Your state primary is then. Please be sure to vote Libertarian Delaware. Help every libertarian that you can get is ballot access forever instead of having to petition to get on the ballot each and every year. Let's see. I got George Worth throwing up a peace sign. What's up, George? Thank you for being here, my man. He said, but they failed. I'm not sure what you're talking about. But if we can get some libertarians out there on the ballot, they will not fail. And that's what we want. People out there, vote Libertarian. Let's get these libertarians on the ballot. Make sure that they are having ballot access forevermore, okay? Says Texas Republicans tried to kick off the Libertarians. Dems fought the Greens. Yeah, see, the establishment is fighting the Libertarians. They're fighting the Green Party. They're fighting all other third-party candidates or new party candidates, as I want to say, from taking over the establishment. You got the old party, which is the red and the blue, and then you got the new party, which is the red, the gold and the green, and anything in between, okay? So we want to get rid of the old establishment, the old government parties. They no longer work for us. Let's switch it up, do something new. Go out there, make sure that you're voting. And what you're doing with that vote is you're demanding change. You vote for the establishment, you ain't demanding no change. You want shit to stay the same. You vote for a Republican or a Democrat, you ain't doing shit different. You keeping shit the same. You want status quo to stay exactly as it is. All of you people out there that's going out to vote, you're voting for change. If you vote Libertarian, you vote Green Party, you vote Independent, you vote for anybody other than a Republican or Democrat establishment candidate that you see on ballot and ain't talking about ending the establishment as it exists. George Worth says the Texas Republican failed to keep libertarians off the ballot. They sure did. Let's make sure it stays that way. And Glenn Boyer says, but I worry about splitting the vote with the Libertarian Party. I don't know how you're going to split the vote with the Libertarian Party. Whenever you vote Libertarian, you're going to be supporting Libertarian. And the Libertarian candidate that is nominated is Joe Jorgensen. If there's any other presidential candidate on the ballot that is Libertarian that you choose to vote for, then that's your choice. But as we are trying to do, we are trying to gather behind our one candidate to make sure all of our votes are supporting her and her endorsement and her campaign and her candidacy. So make sure that we are all gathering behind our one candidate for president, and that is Joe Jorgensen. So if you're talking about splitting the vote between the establishment, that's a mute argument. We don't give a damn about them. We want to take away votes from them any way, shape, any way, shape that we can. So please, like I said, vote Libertarian, vote Green Party, vote Independent, vote Socialist Party. No, don't do that. Don't vote Socialist Party, okay? Whatever you do, do not. And that's probably the Democrats at this point, or the Republicans, since they also advocate for bailouts and for the spending of taxpayers' dollars, even though they don't make no damn dollars. But anyways, the Constitution Party, the Sovereignty Party, any of those other parties may have candidates on the ballot. Vote for them. Don't vote for an old party establishment candidate. That would be Trump or Biden. So don't do that. Okay? Now, like I said, all of you out there watching, if you live in Delaware, know of anyone in Delaware, please be sure to tell your people in Delaware to go out and vote Libertarian, since their primary is next week, Tuesday. Okay? All right, I got my man Mugabi still in the house. He says, very true, poverty is a card which is always in favor of dictators, tyrannical leaders, and authoritarians. I'm telling you, and they will use that poverty card to continue to keep us oppressed. And the Republicans wield that poverty card. The libertarians are fighting to destroy that card. Here in California, we have a Democratic governor who is ruining the economy of the state. And he's definitely playing the poverty card by saying that he's going to take care of the middle-class workers and low-income earners and the poor and the homeless and the kids. Yeah, right. He hasn't done a damn thing for those people. And he's now using the pandemic panic to take away more of our freedoms and enslave us even more to debt. And we don't want that. We don't want to be enslaved to debt as individuals, as a state, or as a country. So let's definitely change that. Thank you again, Mugabi, for the comment. And of course, like I said, thank you so much for being a guest. I got to get you back on the show soon again. So definitely keep in touch with me, my friend. And all of you out there that are watching, if you do want change, true change, please be sure to support my campaign for California governor. Head on over to crowdpack.com/C/Wildstar4Gov. Contribute whatever that you can that's going to help me make sure that I hit my $10,000 goal before the end of the year. That's what I want. Before the end of 2020, I need $10,000, and I need for all of you to help, okay? I just went to Ventura over the weekend, and I attended a rally in Oakland with the vice presidential candidate for the Libertarian Party, Spike Cohen. I had to pay for a hotel. I had to pay for travel. I had to pay for food. I had to pay for things all out of my own pocket. Campaigning gets expensive. I have a son that just turned 1, and I'm not going to go for broke trying to take care of my family as well as running for office. If you want to see me be successful in making sure that I have an opportunity to be a representative for we the people, then help me. Put your money where your mouth is, or if you don't have the money, put your skills to work, okay? So contact me, find out what you can do to be a staffer. I need people to help with video editing. I need people to help with social media outreach. I need people on my staff to help. So if you don't want to give me your money, okay, and you just holding on to it for dear life for some damn reason, instead of buying your freedom, because that's what you're doing by buying a candidate, the Goldman Sachs bankers don't give a damn. They're going to put all of their money behind the red or blue candidate. Don't give a damn. The war machine is going to put all of their money behind the establishment. Don't give a damn. And keep things the way that they are. The Democratic Party, I think, just hit a fundraising record of $400 million some dollars for Joe Biden. That's ridiculous. And then they also get subsidized taxpayers' money with these campaign loans. It has to end. So how do we stop it? By making sure that we have a true representative of we the people in office, one that's not bought out and one that won't sell out. And that is yours truly. Head on over to crowdpack.com/C/Wildstar4Gov. It's a crowdfunding website for my campaign for California governor. Please contribute whatever you can. And if you don't want to give me some money, then make sure you give these guys some money. Recall Gavin Newsom 2020. That's what we want to do. So head over to recallgavin2020.com. Donate to these guys so they can help increase the effort so we can recall Governor Gavin Newsom. He is ruining the economy of the state. He is ruining the social condition of the state of California. He is ruining California. Find out. Google it. You can do your due diligence. Find out about how this man in so many ways is ruining the great state of California. And like I said, please be sure to contribute to the efforts to recall him so we the people can have an opportunity to get his ass out of office. Right now, the fake news won't talk about the damn recall at all, mainly because the majority of the publications are liberal owned, left-leaning, Democratic publications. So they're in supportive of this asshole. And they're not going to talk about how we, the people of California, are trying to remove this asshole. So if you want to help us remove this asshole from our great state, then please head on over to recallgavin2020.com, donate what you can, and help us recall him. If you live in the great state of California, of course, please be sure to print out that petition, sign that petition, circulate that petition in your community, and help us get as many signatures as you can. The deadline is fast approaching, which is the end of November 27th, I believe. So we're trying to hit 1.5 million signatures before November 27th. And they all need to be qualified. They all need to be verified. They all need to be eligible. Some people sign the petition aren't registered to vote. Come on now. You're wasting people's time. Register to vote.ca.gov. You can do it and make sure that you sign the damn petition so we can get Gavin Newsom out of office right now. And like I said, if you don't want to support my efforts to replace him as a candidate for governor in 2022, or if not sooner, if this recall is successful, then please contribute to the recall efforts or head on over to rehabrightscorp.org. It is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization that I am affiliated with, and we have been involved with mobilizing tens of thousands of people here in the state of California to reopen California. So head on over to the website. There I am. See, that's me. And I'm part of this We Have Rights movement to, again, recall Gavin Newsom and reopen the state of California, get some elected leaders into office that are going to uphold the United States Constitution, since our elected representatives are not. We got to make sure that they're being held accountable, and who's going to do it? We have rights. we're going to do it. We're doing it right now. So if you want to help us in our efforts, make sure that we can get more rallies like this one in the picture organized, then please head on over to wehaverightscorp.org, click on donate, and contribute whatever you can. So yes, we've recalled our governor before. We definitely can do it again, George. We got rid of Gray Davis. We're trying to get rid of Gavin Newsom. So please head on over to recallgavin2020.com, or again, wehaverightscorp.org to find out how you can get involved right now. And to all of you people that again were watching, hold on. Please definitely come back tomorrow so you can speak with my wife, Crystal Wildstar, who is having her Crystal Room Wednesdays right here on the Governor Wildstar YouTube channel. So if you are subscribed to my Governor Wildstar YouTube channel, please again come back next week Wednesday, or pardon me, not next week Wednesday, this Wednesday. I'm always doing shit in advance, but today is Tuesday, tomorrow is Wednesday, where you can come and check out Crystal Room Wednesdays and speak with my wife, Crystal Wildstar. Ask her a question about your future or your love life, or if you have a career or are essential or not. She provides psychic readings, and she'd be happy to talk with you more. So come on back on Wednesday, Crystal Room Wednesdays with my wife, Crystal Wildstar. So if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to come back then. Or if you're watching on any other platform, go on over to our Facebook page, Crystal's Healing Arts, and be sure to follow her page so you can see, excuse me, so you can see that video, okay? And of course, all of you out there, be sure to come back on Thursday for another Black Side of Liberty, where I will be speaking to my guest, Moses West, who is the founder of the Moses West Foundation. If you haven't heard of that, then you definitely should. These are atmospheric water generators that can create water out of thin air. This brother right here has done it. He has machines that can do it. And when he comes back, or comes here on Thursday to the Black Side of Liberty, he's going to talk to you out there about how it's done, and hopefully about how we can inspire our government to start using these. I know I would if I was governor of California. If you want those, then definitely come back Thursday, where we speak to Moses West, founder of the Moses West Foundation. So thank you to all of you out there, my beings of art, culture, and knowledge, for being here on the Black Side of Liberty with your man, Governor Wildstar. I appreciate you all for being here and talking to me. All of your questions and comments. Come back Thursday, where we again will be talking to Moses West, and let's definitely do it again, all right? So till then, long live liberty, y'all. Y'all have a wonderful night. Peace.